Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation or sleep through ASMR. Now, you can tell by the title, but today's video is another imagination personality test. This one I'm probably going to be calling the stairs. This one is quite good. It's very short and sweet, but it's full of meaning. So I've been, of course, researching personality tests and going down the rabbit hole of all of these tests so that we can do them together, because I know how much you love them and I love them too. So I've been finding some Cocology tests, and this one, unlike the last Cocology test that was multiple choice, this one is just going to be your specific answers, and it's going to be actually very good. They sort of give you some options without A, B, C, or D, but they sort of like go over each option for you in a way you'll see when we get there. I, of course, over-explain, so just briefly I'm going to say what these are and then we'll get into the test. So these tests are personality tests. They're just for fun, so don't worry if your answers are inaccurate for you. They're designed for fun, but I'm going to read you something new that I haven't read you before. And this is about Cocology. So it says, Cocology comes in two words, kokoro and logi. The Japanese term kokoro means a soul or spirit, and logi, a Greek word for study. It simply means a study of the soul or spirit. And this game or quiz presents a series of psychological questions that are designed to reveal one's hidden attitude towards certain psychological topics. So this is like a game or a test of self-discovery. So essentially, there are no right or wrong answers, but answering these openly and honestly and just instinctually will definitely help. So don't think too much. I'm just going to create this scenario, and as you go into this scenario, you're going to learn things about yourself. So in this specific test, there are only 4 questions, but they'll really take you down a certain path, and then I'll be revealing what your answers mean, and I'll also be revealing what my answers mean. So let's get into this imagination personality test. So just relax. Hopefully you're in a relaxing environment so that you can focus on the questions. Essentially, this scenario leads us into the dark world where the line between simple thrills and actual fear is blurred. So jot your answers down, leave them in the comment section down below, or try to remember what you chose. The first question. You are in an abandoned building where no human has set foot for years, and you have discovered a staircase leading to an underground. So in this abandoned building, no one has stepped foot in years, but there is a staircase leading underground. Slowly, you make your way down, counting the steps as you go. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. How many steps is it to reach the bottom of the stairs? How many steps to the bottom of the stairs did you count? Next, the underground room is pitch black. So you've reached the bottom and it's pitch black. Then from the darkness, you hear the sound of another person. Is the person weeping softly? Is the person moaning wordlessly? Is a voice speaking to you? So you hear a sound in the darkness. It is a person. What are they doing? Are they crying, moaning, speaking to you? What is going on? Keep that in mind. Next, how do you react upon hearing the sound of this other person? Do you try to search out the source? Is your first instinct to run up the stairs without looking back? Or are you paralyzed with fear and frozen where you stand? So, how do you react to hearing the sound of this other person? Do you want to search out the source in the darkness? Do you try to find this person? Is your first instinct to run up the stairs immediately and not look back? Or are you paralyzed with fear and simply frozen in place? Next, you hear a person now calling your name, and you see a figure descending from the light at the top of the stairs. Who is this person coming down the stairs? So you hear a person calling your name. We can assume this person knows you. And you see a figure descending from the light at the top of the stairs. Who is this person coming down the stairs? Keep a name in mind. The test is now complete. Before I reveal your answers, I will give you a little background information on this test. So it says, abandoned buildings and underground rooms are highly symbolic of buried memories and all the psychological scars. All of us have had an experience we'd rather not recall, or a heartbreak we thought we'd forgotten. But the memory is not so easily erased, and the things we hope to forget linger for longer than we'd like to admit. Your responses to this situation that I presented to you shows you how you deal with painful memories of the past. I told you this one will dig a little bit deeper, so number 1, I had to count the steps to the bottom of the stairs. So this says the number of steps to the bottom of the stairs indicates the impact of psychological scars you are bearing. People who said there were only a few stairs feel little adverse effect from the past. So essentially 1, 2, 3 stairs, that would mean you have little adverse effect from the past. But those who described a long staircase leading deep into the earth carry correspondingly deep wounds inside. So how many stairs did you imagine? I personally imagined, I think when they had me counting, I just imagined maybe like 10 at most. So like, because in my mind when I was young and we had a basement, I think there was about 10 steps or so leading to the basement. So that's sort of what I imagined. Not like 20, 30 steps, but not 1 or 2 either. So I think maybe I would fall somewhere in between. Those who described a long staircase leading deep into the earth carry correspondingly deep wounds inside, and then shorter stairs, less wounds. So very interesting. Next question. The sounds you heard out of the darkness reveal how you got through bad experiences in your past. So the voice, I had you imagine a person in the pitch blackness and what they were doing, weeping, moaning, etc. So those who said they heard weeping like crying, have been comforted by others in times of trouble and recovered with the help that they received. So if you heard a crying person, essentially this means that in your troubled times, you have recovered from it through seeking help and venting, I suppose. People who took care of you in their kindness have helped you become the person you are today. The tears you cried were not in vain. People who heard wordless moaning went through hard times in their past alone. So if you heard maybe a moaning sound, someone was in trouble but you didn't make out the words, this means that you went through hard times in your past alone. The moaning you hear in the dark is your own buried pain. Perhaps the time has come to open the door and let the sun shine in. Things won't look so bleak in the light of day. Very interesting. So, essentially, if you heard moaning, it probably means you suffer in silence and you should perhaps seek more help. So, the interesting part about this test is they even give you advice based on your answers. So, next, those who heard a voice speaking to them wear their old scars like a badge of honor, refusing to think of them as wounds. Nietzsche said that which does not kill us makes us stronger. And you seem to have taken this philosophy to heart, but be careful not to let this harden you to the feelings of others. So essentially, if you heard a voice speaking, this means that you do have wounds from your past, but you wear them as a badge of honor, refusing to think of them as wounds. I heard this last one, so I heard essentially a speaking. And that's so interesting because I think as much as I hate to admit it, I write off past bad things that happened to me, and I try not to think of them as bad things that happened to me. It's just something that maybe helped me become the person that I am today. So this is so accurate for me. Oh my gosh. And I didn't even know why I was hearing speaking as opposed to anything else. It's just the first thing that came to mind. So that was true for me. Was it true for you, this one? These questions are very personal. Next, third question. Your reaction to the sounds in the darkness shows how you deal with the painful aspects of your own past. So remember I said, how did you react upon hearing this other person? Did you seek out the source? Did you run? Etc. So it says, if you went out to search for the source of the sound, it's likely you showed the same take charge attitude in your own life. By facing your problems head on, you're bound to discover solutions. So if you went out to search for the sound, it's likely you have a take charge attitude in life. Those of you who ran straight back upstairs without confronting the sounds have a history of ignoring problems in the hopes that they'll just go away. That approach may work sometimes, but don't be surprised when the trouble stays around longer than you had anticipated. Sometimes you need to stand and face your fears. So, if you ran back upstairs, essentially it means you ignore your problems and hope that they go away rather than facing them head on. Which seems kind of obvious in this situation as you literally ran, but... And lastly, if you were frozen in place with fear, it may be that you have unresolved conflicts in your own past that continue to haunt you and keep you from moving ahead with your life. So, if you were frozen in place and you didn't essentially react, it means that you have unresolved conflicts from your past that haunt you and sort of keep you in place, so they stop you from moving on with your life. Wow. So mine was the first one. Typically, I think I wouldn't necessarily react the way I did, but in this situation, when I was imagining it, I went to search for the source of the sound. Because to me, the person wasn't that scary, but the way they paint the picture, this abandoned building, of course, it seems so scary. So I went to search for the source of the sound. It's likely you show the same take charge attitude in your own life by facing problems head on. You're bound to discover solutions. If you watched my last video, when I took that long personality test, I think I spoke about certain answers in depth, and I think I went over the fact that I'm sort of like, I'm pretty good at reacting to like crazy situations very fast, so I would usually, in a scary situation, be the first one to act and take charge. I don't freeze in fear, there's like fight or flight mode, and I'm definitely more fight, so I think this is accurate. Very interesting. Lastly, the last question, I had you imagine a person at the top of the stairs that probably knew you because they knew your name. So the person who appeared at the top of the stairs calling your name is someone you feel you can rely on in times of trouble. The name you gave is the person you believe will comfort you and help to heal your wounds. So it ends on a nice note, essentially, with a person calling you. It almost feels like a savior, really. So the person you imagined is typically the person that you feel as though you can rely on. So who did you imagine? I wonder if no one came to mind and if that would be accurate for you, but I had a hard time. I think the first person that came to my mind was my fiance, but I was sort of like in my mind saying, who should I choose, him or my sister? So it's funny, I had like two people in mind, and either way that would definitely be accurate because I would turn to both of them or either of them in times of trouble. So they've definitely both been the source of comfort as well to me. So wasn't that an interesting imagination personality test? So this was a Kokology test, but it's in the same order as my imagination personality test, where I give you a scenario and I have you imagine it, and so interesting. So in learning about this and in learning about Kokology, these Japanese personality tests, I've been able to find more personality tests for you also. This was super fun. I really enjoyed this one, even though it was very deep and it might be, who knows, digging up some essentially deeper issues of your past, because some of these tests are a little lighthearted and this one was definitely more serious. But I hope you still enjoyed this. Please remember that it's just for fun. If you found this to be inaccurate or what have you, this is just for fun, and if your answers weren't right at all, just take this as a fun exercise to work out your imagination, if you will. But I love these tests and I love doing them with all of you, and I love that you love these because I feel like you enjoyed these and I enjoy making them so much. So it's like the perfect combination of ASMR video for me, because I truly love these tests, and I feel like it's a way for us to get to know each other, because sometimes you'll share your answers and I'll always share mine, so you can sort of get to know me too. So it's really fun and I love it, and I love doing these with you, and I hope that you're relaxed in this relaxing atmosphere, and I do look forward to seeing you again soon. I will always do my best to find these tests. I feel like I've been doing them lately, like maybe every 2 weeks or so, give or take. I'll try to find a new test, and hopefully we never run out. But thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that this video did make you feel relaxed. I hope it wasn't too personal, and if it was, I hope that it made you understand your flaws and how to improve them, because I did like how they gave you a sort of remedy to the problem. They didn't just say, here's your problem. They said, this is your problem, but maybe you need to fix it in this way. So I found this very interesting. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing this short little test with me, and I look forward to reading your answers in the comments down below if you care to share. If not, you can just let me know if you found this one accurate or not. Alright, well, take care. Sweet dreams, happy relaxation, or I'm just happy to entertain you with this ASMR video. Bye bye. Take care.